So if I understand very well, you guys are actually talking about a woman who has cheated on his husband when he was locked up, and now wait for the man to come out and then work with her. And now you're talking about people being human beings. So it means cheating now it's okay. That's not great for me. So a woman who cheats can never be trusted. So the man didn't trust her. Should we trust her? Or should we expect that she's gonna be great or she's one of the great? For me, I don't think she's great. I don't think she did anything great. Her being locked up might be her own problem. Because maybe she has been running around white people and she snitch a lot. Let's say it like that. And then what? She's not great. So anybody has anything to say? A woman who cheats is not great.
Right. Is that your summary of Winnie Mandela, the great Winnie Mandela, who fought on behalf of African people without being a perfect woman? Because there's nobody on this earth who's perfect. I live in Europe and I can see a whole lot of imperfect people over here doing all sorts of nonsense with black people, against black people. So I'm a bit surprised by your summary of Winnie Mandela based upon her alleged private life. I
So you
can't
mean?
believe you're saying that. Are you
So
serious?
yeah, I'm very serious, 100% serious.
Can I ask no more question? I mean, I think it's okay to say that, right? No more. But now, my question is now when the male leaders, when they cheat, is that okay?
Did Mandela cheat?
Yes.
He cheat, bro.
Yes.
Stop lying.
Yes. So
who
my
was with
question
jail,
is, when
how
that
could he cheat?
happens, is that okay?
No,
I'm just
it's not
asking.
okay.
I'm
Anybody
just
who
asking.
cheats is not
When a
okay.
male leader also cheats, is
Bro, it
that
doesn't even
okay?
matter if you're a
I'm just
leader or
asking.
not. You're not supposed to cheat. That's it.
I think you're off the point.
Okay.
I have a different question.
You're off the point.
Okay.
27 years. 27 years and Mandela and Winnie did not remarry. So if she is tempted and she succumbs, are we to falter?
So okay,
For
27 years.
27
Did
years,
Mandela become?
if you had a wife who was locked up for 27 years, would she be right if she left you and married another person?
So 27
If she
years. Why did
waited for
Mandela
you
didn't
and
become gay?
cheated, will it be
He could have
wrong?
also been gay because there were only men inside the prison. He had urges. He could have become gay also to just release himself, right?
Oh man.
He didn't do that.
No more. Come, are you serious?
No, I'm serious right now. You are talking about body urges.
He wasn't
You
with
guys
the
are talking about
general
the urge.
population. He was in solitary. So what are you alleging now?
He
Come
was in
on.
solitary. It means that he never came out.
I believe
He,
this.
of course, he wasn't with the general population that way.
He was with his people, his boys. We all know this story. He wasn't alone.
Yes, but it wasn't like that. They did not have those freedoms. The prison in Robben Island and Poolsmoor are not like America no more.
Ah, yeah.
Just
The
to
man didn't become
rephrase
gay,
the
but the woman
question
cheated.
so
Still, you want to be behind her. This is
so
the
that
problem right
you're
now.
able
We
to
think
wear
that
Winnie
women
too,
are supposed to be so
I
elevated
would
to a
like
point that they cannot make a mistake. Whatever they do is okay. Whatever they will do, okay, they had an excuse for it. It's because of that, because of this, because of that. No, hold them responsible for what they did.
right
And
and wrong is relative. I'd like you to wear her shoes and then tell me if it was you. So
I couldn't
if
wear her shoes. I'm
your
not a
wife,
woman.
wait. If your wife, yeah, you're not a woman, I appreciate that. If your wife was locked away for 27 years,
Yeah.
would it be okay if you remarried?
If my wife was locked away for 27 years and she's working for actually something we are working together for, bro, why would I think
Yes.
about cheating? Because I'm trying to fight for something really greater than sex, greater than what having an interest, whatever with somebody else. Because I know she is suffering there.
So
She's
you would
actually
not
struggling
remarry.
where she is. So if I cannot support her spiritually
Well,
or be there for her, why would I do
Your
something which I know is gonna
position,
affect her when she's
your
worried about it?
position, therefore, your position, therefore, is you would not remarry, right?
What has it
Nah,
got to
because
do
my
with
wife is in jail.
Normal?
She's fighting for
I,
something,
what has it
which
got
we
to do
both
with
are
Good,
fighting
you?
for.
good.
What
Now,
has it got to do with you?
then you also have needs and feelings. Then something
If I have need,
happens
I'm
and
gonna
you
use my
act on
hands.
them.
Wow.
If I have
If
need,
something
I'm gonna
happens
use
and
my
then you
hand
act
just
on
because I don't
them.
want to
Are
cheat on
you
my
now a
wife,
bad
and I
person?
still want to make sure she come out of that place. The head is up, not like she's gonna come out and people will be like, "Oh, your husband still cheated on you, so we don't even think you're that important." Nah, I'm not gonna do that because anything that I do outside is gonna disgrace her name inside or disgrace her inside.
Oh
We need
man.
to learn to start thinking about
Oh man.
responsibilities and start thinking about what people actually need to stand for.
These are very idealistic position. I think I'm going to just sidestep this argument. It's like you telling a sex worker that they should work hard and not be there selling themselves on the street. You while
I
you
don't have
don't know
anything
the
to say to
story,
sex
while
workers
while
because I don't
even
know what is
while
about them there.
things do happen that can make you do the thing that you think you ought not to do. So I want to
Really?
sidestep that and agree that leaders are people and they have flaws, well, just as they have their strengths. I was alluding to something. Uh, a father or a parent, no matter how bad they are, they usually give, most times, they usually provide good food for their children. And I'd like to believe that that will also, in an ideal world, that will also be true for leaders. They would like to give their best to their people because your power is as a result of your people's power, is a contribution. When you're elected, they donate their little power. So if they are powerful, you yourself become powerful too. Okay? For example, a leader in a slum is not as notable as a leader maybe in a suburb or a leader of a country like the States. Then a leader of Djibouti, right? If you measure, it's because of the people who are voting for them, who are donating that power empowered. So given that this is the case, that people, if nothing is interfering with it, the leadership will always try to do the best for its people. We must then suspect that there is something holding them not to, okay? And we see this through um, USAID. I'd urge you to do some investigations. You see how the flow of money, uh, is it Arikana Chikombori talking about an AU person talking about she was fired, talking about how envelopes move around the country. But besides them being bribed or being coerced or being assassinated, I want us to look uh, at the fact that as Africans, we are not yet as economically and military empowered. So that even if you're a good leader and you want the best for your country and you fight for him like Traore, there are limits to what you can do. And it will reach a point where you're now negotiating for the lives of your people, where you're like, do I compromise here and maybe leave control of this mine or give this company rights to come do fishing in our seas? Or do I let the neo-colonialist come with a fuss and attack my country? So I want us to be able to see past our leaders' failure and look at a possibility of there being a pressure point out there that causes these sorts of behavior, and then ask ourselves, okay, this is it. This is our position. What then do we do as Africans to make sure that we are empowered enough and to give this leadership that enabling environment to be proper leaders? Thank you. I think I'll land with that.
Wow. I'm still trying to figure this out. What is it? Why is it no one's business about the private life of Winnie Mandela, given the fact that I presume, as he got such verve and vim for these Boers in white South Africa who are doing all sorts of nonsense against black African people in South Africa. I don't understand his priorities. Very judgmental as
Trust
well.
me, if I was
Very,
living in,
very.
in
You're
South
very.
Africa,
I haven't finished.
I was going to be the
I let you
most
talk.
looked after person on earth
No.
if I was
You
living there.
no.
You know how much I hate white people? You don't have no idea. So if I
Yeah,
was living
but
there, I was gonna be
yeah,
much
but
more worse than
what
Mandela, much more worse than
answer
anybody who
my
is there right
answer
now.
my
Because I
answer
would
my
have been doing
question.
things that people wouldn't believe they have seen before. Okay?
Answer my
Calm down.
question.
If you talk about Africa.
Answer my question. What has Winnie's private life, a relationship with the husband who was jailed for 27 years, got to do with anything? What has it got to do with anything? Nothing.
Come again, I didn't hear again.
I'll
Your
say
voice
it
was
again.
breaking up.
What has Winnie Mandela's private life? This woman was subject to all manner of apartheid abuses by these Boers, right? Why don't you have the same vim for the people who perpetrated such things against her and her family for so many years, and you want to talk about her private life?
Those are the people she was
Wait a
working
minute.
with, right?
Some of you people
So
are crazy, man. You're crazy. I don't understand.
so
You're crazy.
you mean in a process of a thief being part of a group of thief, and the process that thief get his hand cut, I'm supposed to feel pain for the thief.
No, stay back on the
Nah, bro,
subject. You were
never.
talking about marriage or something like that, not about hands cutting off. Stay on the point.
No, I'm just telling you the same shit. So if it
No,
is
it's
that
not the
she,
same. It's not the
you
same.
said why am
Stay
I
on
so
the point.
interested?
Stay on
You
the
said why
point.
am I so you said why am I so interested in her sex life, right? That's
I
what you said.
said a married life. I didn't say a sex life, actually. I said a married life.
Bro, what are you talking about? We're talking about a wife of a great guy, and now
Yeah?
we're trying to put the great guy down and trying to be like she was the greatest. She
No,
wasn't.
I didn't say that. No, I didn't hear anybody say
Okay,
that.
maybe you didn't hear the whole text here. That's what the narrative here is. That she did much more than him because she was outside fighting for what. Now she
No,
It's
presumed
all
greater than
narrative.
him.
Don't talk rubbish, please.
it's
Mark,
just
we're
nonsense.
discussing
Hey,
Winnie
please, can you
Mandela.
choose your word that you tell me
You
because
give
I
your
I'm
don't have a
talking.
opinion.
filter. I
Everybody
can
gives
tell you
their
that right now.
opinion.
I don't have a
We're
filter. So
discussing
please
Winnie
choose your
Mandela, so
word
Okay.
wisely when you
don't
talk
come
to
and
me.
talk rubbish.
Okay. Choose your
No,
word wisely
come
when you're
on.
talking to me. I don't have a filter at all.
Huh?
Okay?
Sorry?
You can talk, Mark. You can talk. I'm hearing
Yeah,
you.
I was. That's what you won't let me finish what I'm trying to say. What I'm
No,
trying to
I'm trying
say,
to talk to the other one who was trying to intervene inside. You
right?
can talk. Why?
Okay. Well, can I complete my point because I don't really talk for massive
It's
amounts
okay.
of
You can
time
complete
anyway.
it. I'm gonna
What
mute
I'm
myself.
saying to you, I wasn't comparing Winnie Mandela's greatness with Nelson Mandela's or vice versa, right? That was not the point. She did a lot to help him. They were two. She lost the husband. They put him in jail and they harassed her for decades while he was in prison, right? This is where I'm coming from. Now, when I look at South Africa, all around South Africa, and talk to African people, I don't see that many of these kinds of people who what we call over here, outside of maybe out and inside maybe of Africa, is what we call them Pan-Africanists. They are about love for African people and revolution for African people, African families, African men, African women, African children, because we are the most disrespected people on earth. So that's where Pan-Africanists like me come from every day of the week. Not that we're perfect or that we don't do things that are wrong, because I don't see nobody else that around the world that doesn't do things that are not perfect all the time, right? So I don't understand why we have to waste our time probing into the private life of Winnie Mandela when I remember when the times when she was being so disrespected by all manner of people and she kept going. I'm not suggesting that she's perfect. I'm not suggesting that Ibrahim Traore is perfect either, by the way, with his family life. and his children or whatever, right? You don't know what he does or doesn't do either, but you've chosen her because you're probably reading stuff that some colonizer spoke about her without balancing the issues properly. See what I mean? Nobody's saying that these people are perfect. We can't see, standing outside of Africa, I'm not actually in South Africa, we can't see very many people who sound like Pan-Africanists. We can hear loads of Christians talking all the time, but we can't hear the Pan-Africanists so well. There's a few great ones that you have. Dr. Arikana is great. Ibrahim Traore. What's the other one? PLO Lumumba. These people are not colonized in their minds, and they're the ones who are making a difference in Africa. The rest of these people are just talking. They're just talking about Winnie Mandela's private life, like as though it's relevant to the South Africa where the whites run your economy for you and steal half of what you have, or more than half actually. 80% of what you have, they steal. Why don't you talk about them? Why don't you talk about the Boers and how to deal with them? Because they are still doing apartheid in your country, but they're calling it something else now. Why don't we talk about that?
Bro,
I don't care about Winnie Mandela's private life.
I was here last time
care.
and I called the idea of South Africa and what they're doing. They are thinking like a white people. People almost killed me. So it's not like I am afraid to say my mind. I always say my mind. It's people
What do
who
you
trying to
mean by
attack me because
thinking
I
like
say my
white
mind.
people? Talk about that then. What do you mean by thinking like white people? Educate us. What do you mean?
Do you know what
Let's
happened in
learn.
South Africa if you are black there, even though you're from Africa?
Huh?
Do you know what happened to a black man there, even though you are from Africa, in South Africa? Do you know what happened?
I know.
Listen.
I know. You can
Let
tell
me
us.
tell you. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I remember the times when they're over here in Europe, they were doing songs on behalf of Nelson Mandela, some of the African and black folk. We were doing a lot over here trying to raise awareness. I know they were in Africa too, about freeing Nelson Mandela from Robben Island, all this nonsense they were doing to him. And Steve Biko. They never talk about Steve Biko anymore, some of these people, but equally great, in my view, equally great as Nelson Mandela. They don't talk about him and the books that he wrote, right? So what do you mean? So this is the thing. This is the thing with South Africa, is that when I stand there and I look at this, I think, well, this is a typical kind of like institutionalized racism towards black people again. Coloreds, dark blacks, light blacks, all this. They're all Africans, by the way, but the European has told you about yourself and they're still taking your money and they still own most of your economy. Talk about that. How does that work? And does Julius Malema, who is he? Does he believe he sounds like a Pan-Africanist? So I hope he is, because
He
he
is a
must know that economically, Africans don't understand European economics so well. I thought they did before. A lot of them don't. They talk about rubbish. There's nothing to do with the issue. They want your land and your money and your resources, nothing else. That's all they want. Nothing else do Europeans want from Africans. Not a thing. Okay. Okay.
Hi. I like how the what who was just talking just now. I like his key points
Mark.
that he raised.
Mark.
Can only support it. I'd like us to be a bit more practical. To the person who was saying no about Winnie Mandela, did Winnie Mandela have a child or children? Was she getting social help?
They had 2 children, 2.
Too. And how was she sustaining them? Was the government paying her? How was she feeding them? Do you know that women sometimes have to resort to the worst form of providing food for their children? 27 years. A child does not stop growing. It's not a stone. So when you talk like that, I think it is better to look at what could be the other options that had forced her most likely to take
means that
that
if there
way
is
or
no
this
man,
way.
actually you cannot take care of the children.
Who took care of the
That's
children?
what you're trying to tell me. What about the women who men died when their child was small? What did they do?
Exactly
I
that.
don't think you're listening to feedback, brother.
No, she's not listening. She's trying to put
No.
like equity or
She was
whatever.
still talking and you went on. Why not let her finish what she's saying?
Yes,
Okay, she
because
can.
you know the thing is, if you hate somebody, it is okay. I just want that the other people get a different perspective of a possibility of what it could be, that the reason why. And to be honest, she could even be using a dildo. Wasiukt me, that's what she does in bed. In Swahili, we say, pilipili inapondwa India, inaniwasha nini? Chilies are being pounded in India. Why is it burning me? It's none of my business. But I want to get to another point. I want to get to a political strategy. Winnie Mandela had to be kept away from the husband because she became a bit too radical, much more radical before as the husband was in detention. Strategically, when we look at white people, power is never given up. So much as we want to believe that Nelson Mandela was in power, he wasn't in power. Let's start where he stayed when he left Robben Island. He went and he stayed in a white person's house called Gruta Snow Estate. And he had a white secretary called Zelda Lagrange. Do you think this was coincidental or do you think this is strategic?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always never take anything at its face value when it is given to you by a white person.
Mm-hmm.
Ask
Right.
questions.
Right.
Ask questions and ask even the impossible. He lived in a white man's house. Do you think he can make decisions just like that? And he had a white secretary. Apparently, she admired him. How convenient. Were there no black secretaries who admired him? Who are much better qualification as opposed to a typist who became a personal secretary?
Good, good.
So now if we assume that this couple remained together, do you think South Africans would have had the deal that they had, the black South Africans had this deal that they had, the Rainbow Nation? Or there would have been no compromise, we want our land back? Those are just the questions that I'm just putting in the room. Maybe we should look at what if the relationship was strategically manipulated, which we know it has happened by so many people.
It was.
Prominent and non-prominent.
Mm-hmm. It was.
Throw a right word in the wrong space and everything changes. The rhetorics changes. So if you want to start of all condemning her and trying to say, and what about the people who've lost their husbands? They were not politically active, if that is the case. But she was in the limelight. Nobody could employ her. She was not touchable. Where was she getting that money from? That is a question that I've repeatedly asked myself. How was she sustaining herself? Because even as relatives, we are going to help you, but 27 years is a long time. So maybe for me and the other people that are also out there wondering, ask yourselves those questions. Number one, 27 years, how was she looking after her children? To the extent that I think the daughter became an alcoholic. That is a social impact. Didn't just come from somewhere. It is a process which that child went into.
One of them died, isn't it?
Yes. And then
Resting.
just wait a minute, and then I want to leave you. I'm coming back just now. Then the second thing, ask yourself critical questions. Why was D go and stay in a white man's house? Why was he given a white woman secretary?
Yeah. And one more. How comes...
One more. Okay, I'm finished now. And
White bodyguard as well, resting. White bodyguards.
Thank you.
Yeah. And how comes de Klerk and Mandela shared a Nobel Prize?
Yes.
What nonsense. You see how they fool us all the time? How are the two people the same? How? Makes
What
no
I've
damn
been
sense.
saying, you guys are only trying to disgrace the man and make this woman great. If that is the thing, then every single
You're
woman
saying that. We
is a
didn't
great
say that.
woman.
We didn't say that. You're
You
saying
just said
that.
why does Mandela got the Nobel Prize? He doesn't deserve it. That's what you said, right?
No, I didn't say that. You let me say it
Why? That's
again
what you're
so
trying
that
to
you
say, bro. Don't
listen.
change the thing. That's what you're trying to say. That she was great and
Let me
who
say it
who the
again,
No more.
face
please.
was living in a
That
white
did
No,
man
not say
house.
that.
The country
I
They
didn't
did
was
say
not
run
say
that.
by
that no
white
more.
people.
I didn't
They
say
did
that.
not say that.
I didn't say that.
The
You're
country
not
was
They did
run.
listening.
not say
The
that no
country
more.
was run by
You're
white
no more.
people.
You're not
First of
listening.
all,
You're not listening. That's
bro,
the
I've been
problem.
listening to everything you guys are saying. I've been listening,
Good morning.
really,
But
like listening to you guys. I haven't
can
said
I
anything.
say it again
He
then?
just
You can
wants
talk.
us
You
to
can talk.
agree with his point of view about Winnie, but we don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kiki, I'd like to participate with you all. I hope you all are having a great day. So
I
there's
really don't
local,
want
regional,
nobody to agree with
there's,
me. No
there's,
one should agree
there's
with me. Do
other,
your thinking and do
other.
what you
Can
want.
I get
Don't agree
Kiki
with me.
participate, please?
What?
So
What's
there's
going on
there's
with this guy?
local, regional, national, and international politics. Some people in life communicate from a local perspective, but they want to apply it to international politics. It doesn't work that way. There's local, regional, national, international businesses. Some people are thinking local businesses, not international businesses. Nelson Mandela was an international politician representing South Africa. Unfortunately, on the international stage, things don't always work the way they would in the local and regional, especially for Black people, Africans, who don't have, unfortunately, the international clout of an N weapon, nor any powerful rich nation to back. So here is one Black person trying to represent for South Africa. That would be Nelson Mandela. Now, did he miscalculate just like Martin Luther King? Was he probably used just like Martin Luther King? Yes, but to tear his legacy down, instead of saying he may have averted a massacre of Black South Africans, and to tear Winnie Mandela down over something private, instead of looking at her political positions, is nonsensical. Put all that energy, family, into building them up and fixing the problems that they may have missed. No one provides money for our leaders. So where do they get it? They hustle. They work a side business. They go to the corporate world. We do not provide, and then we sit back and complain. Why did so and so do X? Because we weren't at the jail to provide the food and the ride, and we didn't give Winnie Mandela $100,000 a year to provide for her family. Nor did we do that for Nelson. But we sit back on TikTok and have a lot to say instead of showing some honor, respect, and intellectual capacity. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all listening.
Good. Good. Very good. Yes, that's a very good point you make there.
Can
Yeah.
I ask
That
no
was the
more
worst
quick
point that
questions?
I ever heard. So you can go on talking.
Huh?